Hello guys and welcome back to our computer networks course. So in today's lecture, we'll be starting with error control, right? So let's see how we prevent all the errors and if there is an error, what we would be doing, right? Let's get into it. So there's three main things, right, that we are using for our error control, right? So that is your checksum, acknowledgement, and your retransmission, right? So we already discussed checksum in quite a bit of detail, right? We already know how checksum works, right? You calculate a checksum on your sender end, include it in your header, send it, and then the receiver will calculate the checksum and verify if the checksum is correct or not, right? If it is not correct, that means that this packet has been tampered with, right? It has been corrupted. So you would need to discard this package. Okay. So that was how basically your checksum works. We already have discussed how checksum actually works, right? We have calculated the checksum for an example question, right? And we did the whole process of how your sender will be calculating it, how you would be sending it, and how your receiver would be checking using that checksum. Okay. So we've already done that. So let's move on to our acknowledgement, right? So acknowledgement is basically, right, you send something and then I'm acknowledging it, right? So there's two types of acknowledgement. Okay. The first one, the first one is your cumulative acknowledgement. Okay. So cumulative acknowledgement, and that simply means that I have received 10 things. Okay. I have received 10 things, but I only send one acknowledgement that says I have received this and everything before it. That is all it says. Okay. So what would happen is, let's see. So this is your sender, this is your receiver. I send him 4 packets, let's say. Okay. So after my 4th packet, this guy is going to send me one acknowledgement. And this acknowledgement says that I have received all of these 4 packages. Okay, that is your cumulative act. It basically means this and before. Okay, this and before. That is what it means. So apart from this type of acknowledgement, there is another type of acknowledgement, that is your SAC or selective acknowledgement, right? So what that says is that I have received but not everything, है ना? मतलब it would say that I have received but this guy. ठीक है, I have received but this guy. ठीक है. So मतलब what it is, let's see what it is exactly. ठीक है. So this is your selective acknowledgement. ठीक है, SACK, SAC. So this basically says that I have received this. ठीक है. So the way this is done now, it's a little bit different. So SAC gives additional information to your ACK, right? So matlab you can say that I have received everything before this, and maybe your selective ACK says but not this guy. Okay. So matlab selective ACK is not actually replacing your cumulative ACK, it is adding information to your cumulative ACK, right? So we will see in much more depth how your acknowledgements are working, right? How your SAC works. But for now, let me just tell you one more small thing, and that is your knack. Okay. Knack stands for no acknowledgement. Okay. Knack is sent to tell that I have not received this, right? So ACK was I have received this, I have received this, I have received this, right? Your knack is I have not received this, right? So for example, there was a sender, there was a receiver, right? This guy sent 1, this guy sent 2, and then this guy sent 4, right? So my receiver is going to send knack for 3, right? It says that I have not received 3. I have received 1, 2, and 4, but I have not received 3, right? But this does not imply that he has received 1, 2, or 4. It simply implies that it has not received 3. Okay. So that is what your knack is. So when we were discussing congestion control in previous videos, so we said something about your open loop policy, right? And we talked about how your acknowledgement policy can decide how much of congestion there is, right? So this is what that was, right? If it is cumulative, we are cluttering the channel less, right? If it is, well, if I'm sending it for everything, right? If I am, let's see. So I send one, well, I receive one, I send one acknowledgement. I receive one, I send one acknowledgement, right? This is a lot of clutter, right? What if I could just take 5 and then send one acknowledgement, right? A lot less clutter. So there are many ways to optimize this stuff, and if we have not studied it by now, we would be studying it in the future, so don't worry about it. But just know that that is how your acknowledgement policy was deciding how your congestion is being controlled, right? But for now we will be focusing on your error, right? So your acknowledgement tells you that I have received this and it is in the proper manner, right? So for some part it also includes your order, for some part it does not, right? It depends upon the protocol, it depends upon the method that we are using, but sometimes it also specifically says that I have not received it in the proper order. Okay, so that is what it is. So this guy would tell you that I have received it and I have received it properly. That means that it is basically not corrupted, right? That is all it means. Okay, so let's talk about our retransmission now. So retransmission is basically resending stuff, right? So for example, I sent something, I sent something, but I did not receive an acknowledgement for it. After some time, I should automatically send it now, because I don't know whether that guy received it or not, right? I should just send it again, है. So that is your retransmission. So there are two situations in which you want to retransmit, right? So the first one is timeout, and that is what we just discussed, right? So if you don't receive any acknowledgement, you retransmit, okay? And the second one is 3 duplicate acknowledgements. So you had 2 reasons to retransmit. Your first one is 3 duplicate acknowledgement, and your second reason is timeout. Okay. So let's see why these two are a problem, right? So let's take a sender receiver example again. Let's do this. So first of all, let's discuss our timeout case, right? Because that is much easier. Okay. So I sent something, and when I sent it, I started a timer. Okay. Now I don't know this guy has received it till the time I get an acknowledgement, right? But what happened was that I did not receive an acknowledgement. So I do not know if this thing actually reached him or not. Hai. So what would happen is I would keep sending whatever, I would do whatever I want to do till the time my timer expires. Hai. Till the time my timer expires. But when it expires, I am going to send this thing again. Okay? Because I have not received an acknowledgement for it. That means I am not sure whether my receiver has actually received it or not, right? There can be two cases, right? Either my package got lost or his acknowledgement got lost. Hai. In both of these cases, we would be retransmitting. Okay? So in the first case where your package gets lost, the sender would receive the package and he would acknowledge it. Hai. In your second case, when your acknowledgement was lost, he would receive the packet and he would say, okay, this is a duplicate, but I have to send an acknowledgement for it. So he would discard the packet, but he would send the acknowledgement anyway. Okay? So that is how things are for our timeout case. Okay? Now comes your 3 duplicate acknowledgements. So let's see. So your 3 duplicate acknowledgements now, it is also known as fast retransmission, and the reason is because those three duplicate acknowledgements happen between your expiration timer, right? So let's see. I sent something. So I sent something. Okay. Now I would receive acknowledgement for it, right? But then I sent something again. So let's see, this is data 1. So this was acknowledgement 1, right? This was my data 2. So I sent something again, but it never reached this guy. Okay. It never reached this guy. So after that, I sent my data 3, but this reached it, right? So he would say that I have not received D2. That means you need to resend it, right? So it is going to send me A1 again. Okay, it's going to send me A1 once more. Okay, he would be sending me A1 once more. Now I don't care much about things, so I'm going to send D4. Okay. So I am saying let's wait for now. Maybe my package was delayed in some manner. Maybe it was delayed due to some reason and it would eventually reach this guy, hai na? So we are saying, okay, let him keep saying that D2 has not arrived. let it arrive है ना. If it does not arrive till my expiration timer, maybe I will send it again. ठीक है. So I have started a timer here that closed when I received A1. ठीक है. Then I have started D2. I have started timer for D2. ठीक है. And that timer, let's say, ends here. ठीक है. Let's extend our pass. So let's do this. This is your sender, this is your receiver. ठीक है. So what would happen is again, so D4, I am sending, I already sent D4, right? He needs to acknowledge that. So he does not acknowledge it, right? He says, I don't need this, what I need is D2, I have not received that yet, right? So he sends me A1 again. ठीक है. Then I send D5. ठीक है. I send D5. And this guy again says, no, what I need is not D5. What I need is what I need is D2, right? That is what I have not received. So what happened now is I have received 3 duplicate acknowledgements, right? I have received 3 duplicate acknowledgements. Okay, 3 duplicates acknowledgement. This timer has not expired yet, right? I was supposed to send D2 when I reach this place, but since I received 3 duplicate acknowledgements saying that this guy has not been received, I am going to send D2 now. I am going to send D2 now. Okay, I am going to retransmit it, and this timer would be discarded and a new timer is started, of course, है ना? So of course, right? So you receive 3 timers, 3 duplicate acknowledgements, and you say that he probably did not receive it, right? He probably did not receive it. So he probably is not going to receive it anyway. So let's just retransmit it so he receives it now. है ना? So our package reaches it quicker, right? So that is why this is called fast retransmission. Okay, fast retransmission. Okay. So why is this fast? Again, because initially you were supposed to wait, let's say 5 seconds, है ना? But you received 3 duplicate acknowledgements in your first 2 seconds. So you would be resending it after on the 3rd second, है ना? You would be resending it after this, है ना? You would not actually wait for your timer to expire. So it is faster than it was supposed to be. Okay? So that is why this is called fast retransmission. So 2 reasons to retransmit. First one is your timeout, that you do not receive an acknowledgement, and the other one is 3 duplicate acknowledgements, right? And that actually says that I have not received something, and it says that 3-4 times, and that is why we are simply resending it so that our process becomes much faster. So if you remember, once more, when we talked about our congestion control policies in our open loop, we also had our retransmission policy there, right? And that was exactly this, right? That was exactly this, Hannah. So can you tell me why this was cause congestion? Why some part of it might lead to congestion, right? So when we're talking about timeout, we are waiting a certain period, Hannah, and then we are transmitting it. Now what if I keep retransmitting, right? This is useless clutter, right? I am resending it for absolutely no reason, right? So this is how you are making a congestion in your channel, right? You are retransmitting stuff uselessly, right? So this is basically how you are creating needless congestion, right? So this was the reason why it was also included in your congestion part during when we studied our transport layer, right? So let's move on now, and next up we will be discussing more about these things, Hannah. So let's meet in the next lecture.